This much we know to be true, my friends. Ken Holland's job as Edmonton Oilers general manager will never be done until the day he's done as general manager. This is Dolynny TV. What do I mean by that? Well, friends, simply put, tomorrow could still be an interesting day for the Oilers, but we got word today that the summer may very well also be pretty interesting for us Oilers fans, as you thought the Erik Karlsson rumors were dead at last, but no, friends, they're going to continue long and into the summer, long after the playoffs have concluded. I'm Tyson. Welcome to the channel, friends. This has been a really weird intro. Pardon me. It's late at night. Hey, we got the trade deadline live tomorrow. Still got to schedule that. But if you're new to the channel, what I want you to do right now is, hey, you're taking a risk on a guy that can't get through an intro. Consider hitting that subscribe button here on the channel. I'd love to have you aboard for more Oilers talk. Obviously, we've got the entire rest of the season left after tomorrow. And the best part about it all, for those of you concerned about me covering too many trade rumors, that'll calm down significantly starting on Saturday. Anyway, friends, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Mr. Ken Holland, well, what are we expecting tomorrow? So, what we haven't seen today, I guess, is where we would start. We have not seen Kailer Yamamoto placed on LTIR, so that shot at $3.1 million in cap space seems a little impossible. However, there is a big kind of number here thing for the Oilers. You would remember in the video talking about Nick Bjugstad earlier today, or seeing the coverage of the Nick Bjugstad trade, is the Oilers are at complete zero against the cap, which in LTIR usage means if we enact another contract, we get the full value of that contract available to us as free cap space. So should Kailer Yamamoto end up on LTIR sometime tonight or tomorrow morning, the Oilers would then have the ability to add upwards of another $3.1 million in cap space over the year, whatever that is, cap dollars for the rest of the year. I don't exactly know how that works out, but again, you get the gist. There could be a lot of cap space created tomorrow by the Oilers should they be able to somehow place Kailer Yamamoto on the LTIR. However, according to Darren Dreger today, it seems unlikely. Seems like things with Yamamoto look pretty okay after the hit by Justin Holl last night, and shout out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for that big time scrap. You love to see it. But one of those things where it is probably not going to happen, but keep an eye on it. That's where I'd rate that one right there. And for the Oilers too, then you move into the second option to create cap space, which would be to move down Devon Shore, $850,000 against the cap. Which, okay, so 850 times 2 would allow you to add upwards of a player of $1.7 million unless you got double retention, which would then be a player upwards of $3.4 million. You get where I'm going here? The Oilers potentially and probably should not be done going into tomorrow. There is a lot of sense maybe in the community that the Oilers are done after adding Nick Bjugstad and Cam Dineen today, because Dineen has NHL games under the belt, so he could be an option later down the road or into next year. But for the Oilers, they have to somehow, some way, figure out a way to get into the market tomorrow. Whether it's for just a depth defenseman, right? It sounds like Ryan Murray is out the rest of the year. That's an update I didn't report on, but it's an update we got a couple of days ago. So with Ryan Murray potentially being out for the rest of the year, I think you count on having to find somebody to count on as quote-unquote your eighth defenseman, because the Oilers will want to use Vinny Desharnais and Philip Broberg as much as humanly possible the rest of the season and well into the playoffs, I am sure. Obviously, Broberg's handled himself in the playoffs prior, and adding a right-hand shot defenseman that can get pucks on net and just happens to be 6'6" and very mean sometimes, 6'7" on a good day, Vinny Desharnais, don't mind me. But when you need to kind of have that insurance that I think Ryan Murray was brought into this team to be, right? It was supposed to allow Philip Broberg to develop a little bit at the start of the year and then take a job. Worked out to perfection, but Ryan Murray was still supposed to be around here at all points of the season. Instead, he's on the LTIR and might be done even into playoffs. I don't know what the official actual medical update is, so I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor. I don't even play one on TV, so why should I? But that's where, for the Oilers, you have to find that option, and I think that's kind of just more or less the reporting you've seen, right? You've seen a lot of folks Either they're in the media or just fans talking, we need a guy like Trevor Van Riemsdyk, guys like this, that we could add to the blue line. And I get that and I understand that, and full-heartedly, there is an ability to make it happen. If you get double retention, you can get somebody worth up to $3.4 million in cap hit. So there's a ton of ways the Oilers can go about this tomorrow, and that is a beautiful thing, because for us as Oilers fans, for me who will be live streaming tomorrow for the majority of the day, is you got to realize that it could be a very slow day tomorrow, and especially slow for an Oilers fan. And I mean, as an Oilers-centric channel, live streaming the trade deadline from the Oilers' perspective, I would love to have something Oilers to talk about in video form tomorrow as well, other than just NHL trade deadline chatter for every other single NHL team, because I feel that, to those of you watching this video that will tune into the live stream tomorrow, would be a big fat waste of your time. I mean, there will be a ton of great stories. There will be a ton of get to know Tyson Dolynny stuff in the live stream tomorrow, I'm sure. I like to talk and I can't keep my mouth shut at the best of times. So we're going to play a whole lot of wonderful games tomorrow and figure that out and just kind of get to know me a little bit better, I guess, for a ton of you that have just joined, as I ask the new ones watching tonight to hit the subscribe button if you're so kind. So that's that report, right? The Oilers hopefully not done going into tomorrow, because there is some ways to create it. And what I haven't mentioned, the obvious, dollar in, dollar out. That's the mantra Ken Holland's toed all trade deadlines. So if you really need to ship another body out for another body in, giddy up, let's go. Anyway, that's that, right? That covers kind of the bases on what the Oilers have to do going into the trade deadline tomorrow afternoon. The other update today, and it's been floated out there by, I believe, Daniel Nugent-Bowman, is that the Oilers are not done on Erik Karlsson. This is what I mentioned right off the top about Ken Holland's job not being done until he's done as general manager, is just because the Oilers are done improving for this season as of tomorrow afternoon, unless they make call-ups, send-downs, whatever, rookies shine, Raphael Laval is a playoff hero, whatever. Erik Karlsson is still on the radar and will maintain his spot on the radar with Ken Holland going through the next few months, going in through the playoffs, and going into the off season. And this is a beautiful thing, because I don't know what you know about Oilers YouTube. I don't know what you know about YouTube in general as somebody who creates content like me. But having something to talk about on a daily basis is a good thing. Having something to update regularly is a good thing. And this Erik Karlsson thing has been a gold mine, absolute gold mine, for growing the channel and seeing success here in the past 2 months. And I would love to have that continue, obviously, as somebody who's trying to make something of this whole thing. But obviously, too, I think it's a really nice sign from Ken Holland that there will be some kind of focus on, look, so we're going to do our best this year. Now, how do we repeat it or do better the next year, right? Because problem is, if you do your best this year and you win the cup, the best you can do is repeat and win the cup again next year. You can't technically do better. You can't win 2 Stanley Cups in 1 season. So that's where the Oilers would, right? How do we repeat this? How do we get this going? And Erik Karlsson is definitely, after all we've talked about Erik Karlsson, a great way to do just that. Friends, so that's the Erik Karlsson update. And I think, too, just real quickly, what I want to throw your way is that I'm really grateful that it took this long to get what we got out of Ken Holland this year, but also I'm also grateful that we're potentially not done before the deadline. You know what I mean? It's one of those things of, again, I laid it all out in the Erik Karlsson case, but it's just so nice to see that the Oilers continue to look at every opportunity to improve. And I think, too, right, everybody, well, you need to be patient. Ken Holland will make the right move at the right time. That's great. But it's also, as an Oilers fan, very hard to continue to watch this team lose games with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl putting career season after career season up. And now, what I'm going to be really grateful for is this whole improving, this whole let's make our team better, we need to find this, we need to find that, is going to be over tomorrow afternoon. And we can hopefully get to a point where it is just watch the Oilers win their way into the playoffs, walk in and make some noise. I'm not going to say walk through the first round, because that would be absolutely stupid. Said that last year against LA and it bit me in the butt. But walk in, make some noise, let's go and get the job done. And that's what I'm really looking forward to out of the Oilers. And what I'm really grateful for is we have done what we needed to do to upgrade at bare minimum. Tomorrow could be a nice little depth piece, whatever, maybe 2 trades. Who knows what you could do with potentially $3.4 or $4 million in cap space. I don't know, man. The Oilers haven't had that kind of cap space in a long while, so you tell me what they can do. Matthias Ekholm, anyone? And that's really where I'm going to leave you. I'll talk to you at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in over the past several months as we got towards tomorrow. And until tomorrow, we'll talk.